So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Just going to come to you with a really, really quick one today, and the sun is just shining in at a most unbelievably poor angle here on my face. But that's not the worst of my worries at the moment. We're going to talk about Leeds and a night of ups and downs last night. Paddy is with me here. He's just phoned in via audio at the moment without any video. But Paddy will be here, and he will also be giving his thoughts and feelings. I think, as I say, on a night that started out poorly. Picked up for about 15 minutes and then ended kind of sourly as well in Villa Park last night. But Paddy, I suppose first of all, just give me, how are you feeling today now that we're back out the other side of that game and we're on to a new day?
Well, I suppose the overriding feeling is like we've lost the game. That's the way I went to bed last night, feeling like we've lost it. I still feel the same today. It just seems like that's 2 points left behind, and 2 easy points when you're coasting to leave behind, and that's the way I'm feeling about it today.
It's a strange one because you mentioned the word there, coasting, without getting into the semantics of the word itself, but we had realistically we only played for 15 minutes, and now they were a beautiful 15 minutes, Paddy. Coutinho did some stuff there that Coutinho did some stuff there that I don't think I've ever seen. There was 2 passes that Coutinho played were just fabulous. I'm smiling thinking about them. And we've not seen that. Even when we had Jack Grealish was a ball carrier. He wasn't really a ball passer. He wasn't a super passer of the ball. He was good, don't get me wrong. Coutinho's passing of the ball last night was fantastic. But we did still the crux of the matter here, and it's something that we said before the game, is we only played for 15 to 19 minutes of that game yesterday, and that to me is still a galling point. I've come to terms with the point that we only got a draw last night. Yes, I think when you're 3-1 up against any team, you should be professional enough to see it out. And we're going to start off talking about the highs, I think, of the game firstly, but it is worth mentioning, I suppose, how we are feeling about it at the moment. Look, it's another point. We're still, we're on a 2-game unbeaten run now. Let's keep it. Let's stay unbeaten for the next 4 games as well. I think that's important. But yeah, look, what you say, the context of it is when you're 3-1 up, you should be beating any team in the Premier League. And that's the second time we've lost a 2-goal lead in the Premier League this season. But let's talk about the positives first, and then maybe we can talk about trying to fix things that maybe aren't so positive. But I think the positives were that we're beginning to see the attacking intent that Steven Gerrard wants to bring. We're beginning to see that blossom, I suppose, or at least we did for a short period of time. And obviously, look, we've got goals from midfield again. That's certainly a positive for me, Paddy. Where did you tend to see the positives from last night?
Well, with the exception of Ollie Watkins, I think all the positives were in the final third. I thought Ollie Watkins had one of his abject performances, I could call it. I'm trying to be nice here. I just thought he was missing in action for a lot of the game. Buendia, while he was there, I know he went off. I thought he was fantastic. Coutinho, I thought he was fantastic. Jacob Ramsey, absolutely outstanding. But just again, in sports, it wasn't an overall 90-minute performance of a fantastic football. It just needs to be a lot more spread throughout the game and not just focused into 15 minutes. Now, we're probably being a bit unkind. I think from the time they scored to the time they scored their second goal, I thought we bossed the game. I thought we looked well on top. But it was fantastic. It was great to see balls being played, the likes of Buendia, the likes of Coutinho that we've never seen in Villa Park. The vision, especially for what will be the fourth goal that Jacob Ramsey scored. What a pass! What an absolute world-class pass! And there's a photograph out in the domain there of the two of them pointing at each other, where Jacob Ramsey is pointing at Coutinho saying, "This is all I knew. That's a great pass." and he's not even looking at him. But Coutinho is looking at him and pointing at him as if to say, "This guy has it." Coutinho knows he has it, and he knew when he put him. He put him in so much space to take on that shot. It was absolutely phenomenal. And even with the ball getting caught up underneath his feet, he still managed to get the shot away. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Jacob Ramsey was a huge plus point for me last night, as was Coutinho. Buendia, you know, we've picked on they are the positives from last night. They're the three positives in themselves for last night. But Jacob Ramsey specifically, I like the way that Stephen Gerrard spoke about him afterwards. Look, a lot of people I've read on social media as well that a lot of people are you know, felt that maybe Gerrard should have been a bit more combative with his team and called for more from the team in the post match, and I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there with regards to that. And the reason being is that, you know, you've got a player like Jacob Ramsey, and you know it's a very well used tactic. You can talk about the negatives, but what you can also do is you can call on the young player who tried to grab the game by the scruff of the neck by scoring 2 goals, as a way of pointing the finger at people who maybe should be doing it a small bit more as well in other parts of the field. And that's an age-old piece, you know, that's an age-old tactic of performance management, so to say, within any aspect of business or even team play as well. So I was very much okay with that. What I really liked is Jacob Ramsey's interview after the game as well, Paddy, just showed the kind of the measure of the guy. He didn't get up there and didn't do the you know, they're a great bunch of lads, you know, they're a great bunch of guys, and we're going to continue to work. He basically said we should have won. We were 3-0 up, we 3-1 up, should have won, should have put this one to bed. Yeah, I'm pleased with my goals, but we conceded City goals. And like, he's a 20-year-old child. Sorry, child is the wrong word. 20-year-old man, and you know, I suppose in terms of the game, he's still formative. But you know, for him to come out and say that as well, I think is, you know, it was honest, it was refreshing, it was nice, and I think that there's people that's going to be a bit ratty about that performance last night, you know, and saying, well, look, you can say we should be holding the ball up top a small bit more, but when we were breaking at pace, we ripped them apart. The only reason we didn't break at pace is because, you know, there was no like the opportunities for us to get the ball forward weren't there, you know. So there's swings and roundabouts, and that's why I call it an up and down kind of performance yesterday, even though there was only 15 to 90 minutes. Talk to me a small bit more on Ollie Watkins, Paddy, as well, before we move on. Because,
but look, let's give Jacob Ramsey his due, because you called him a boy, and I think before last night, to me, he was a boy, but I think it was a coming of age moment to play the way he did, and then come out and lost me there, Neil. Have you?
No, you're back again. Yeah, you're back again.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back again. I can hear you. Paddy seems to be gone there. We seem to have lost him, but I think he was talking about Jacob Ramsey and his coming of age moment there, and I think that's very, very true. I think it is it was a coming of age moment. Stephen Gerrard even mentioned it. He mentioned that this was something that he was very, very happy with. He actually said that he knows England midfielders, that he knows what it takes to be an England midfielder, and he thinks that Jacob Ramsey can get there someday if he keeps on going. And that's I suppose for me was really nice to hear, specifically from one of the best goal scoring midfielders that the Premier League has ever seen. Paddy is back again. I don't know if Paddy can hear me.
I can.
You can. Yeah, back again. Yep. That's cool. No, I think you were just saying there about Jacob Ramsey and the coming of age moment as well. That he had last night, the fact that he was, you know, he probably feels more comfortable within the system and within the structure of the squad to be able to say what he did after the game last night.
Yes, absolutely. To stand up and to speak like a man and not be happy with the fact that he's just scored 2 outstanding goals, that the most important aspect of the game was that we threw away 2 points. That we should definitely have got 3 points out of the game. So I think it would be remiss of us not to mention that. And I'm sorry if I missed what you said in between.
No, you're grand. What's the story with Ollie Watkins? Sum up Ollie Watkins to me. What you feel is gone wrong with him recently?
I can't put my finger on it. I think I messaged you after about 20 minutes when they were playing such a high line, and I said, this is crying out for Danny Ings. I just felt that system just doesn't suit him for me. I know I am a big fan of Ollie Watkins. I have wanted him to come on so much, and it just hasn't happened for him. And he may be a victim of the system for me. I honestly thought for the first time, and I think we spoke about this the other night about the
I think we
system
did.
and the high line. That was the first time in a long time we've seen such a high line that I felt that Danny Ings could have exploited, which Jacob Ramsey did exploit. With the two passes that were there. So they were there to be run ragged, and I don't think Ollie Watkins did it. I just can't put my finger on what's going wrong for him.
I think we're talking about a completely different Ollie Watkins performance. And look, you've said an awful lot about stuff there. It was abject performance, I think, last night. It wasn't one of his better ones. He didn't get around the place even as much as he normally does. Now maybe he's been told to hold his position. Maybe that's not something that he can do. But and I also thought that when Kearney came on, I probably would have brought on Ings at that stage like you and played and dropped Watkins back a small bit to try and get him into the game, because you always have the option of bringing Kearney on at that stage, when Ings has kind of warmed himself up into the game. But look, it didn't work out that way, and I don't think Kearney played particularly well when he came on either as well. I just thought the game kind of passed him by, and it certainly wasn't a performance like we saw from him against Everton. But I think with Ollie Watkins, like, there was two instances where Ollie Watkins was literally if he had longer studs, he probably would have put two of them in the back of the net when he slid in, from two beautiful crosses. I think one from Coutinho and one from Digne. So like the margins for somebody like that, and maybe, and that's not Ollie Watkins' game being a poacher, but maybe he needs to develop to become a poacher, as you say, within this. And he was very close to getting 2 goals. I think he got his foot on one of them and it went wide. And like, we did create some chances, but the thing is that we're a team at the moment that when we create chances, like, we could have scored 5 or 6. I don't know. Leeds probably could have scored 5 or 6 as well, though. That's the problem. And we're going to get onto that in a moment, because Tyrone Mings' header in the first half that went wide, fantastic header. He just missed the target. Ollie Watkins, I genuinely believe Ollie Watkins could have got 2 goals if he was 3 inches taller. Because he was in the right place at the right time, sliding in back post. But look, they didn't happen. And when they don't happen like that for a player who hasn't barely got any purchase out of the game at all, we're always going to turn around and say, well, he didn't have such a good game. And I think that's something he either needs to develop, or it's something that that we maybe need to stop providing those chances to him. So I don't know what the situation is. I know we're caught for time on this one, Paddy, and it's going to be a shorter one than normal, but our 2 centre halves didn't cover themselves in glory. There's no 2 ways of sugarcoating this. The red card for me was absolutely like that. To me, was just like some kick in the back of the neck, because he's gone for 2 games now, Konsa is. And he's gone for 2 games, and the other lad beside him didn't exactly fill anyone with confidence at times during the game yesterday. Yes, he carried the ball out, Mings, and that's Mings, by the way, and sorry, it was probably very unprofessional me to call him that other lad. Mings, he carried the ball out of defence really well, which was brilliant. There was sometimes he made them marauding runs. I'd love to see his progressive carries, but just those 1 or 2 little things cost us goals, and it's a conversation point now, and it's been a conversation point for a while that I suppose I've always been kind of saying, look, he's our captain, he's our leader, and while I'm not calling for him to be dropped or anything, there just has to become a situation. There's nothing we can do about it now. We've got 4 centre halves. That's all we have is 4 centre halves and a couple of 16, 17-year-olds. So we have to make something work there. And I don't know how to do it other than, I don't know. Like the second goal, I can mitigate potentially the second goal away from him. I can potentially mitigate the third goal away from him. But at the end of the day, he was the guy who was there with the opportunity to make the clearance, and he didn't do it.
Yeah. Look, I think collectively, it's a poor performance from both of them. I'm going to give Ezri Konsa a pass simply on the fact that there was 3 similar tackles made to the first one by Ayling, and this referee let them go, and there was no yellow card. So for me, for Konsa to make 2 fouls in the game and get 2 yellow cards, I think I don't think anyone can argue with the second one. But I think the first one, if you're going to give people a pass, you have to give everybody a pass. You have to be consistent. So if you're going to let Ayling away with 3 and no yellow card, you have to at least be fair and even it up the other way. and he wasn't. And
And
as a result, he was given a decision to make by an absolutely to lead with the elbow
yeah,
in what he
it's
done is
just
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah,
idiotic. No, and look, I don't mind if I getting 2 yellow cards and getting sent off in a game, if if they're both of them are constructive. Is what I'm
yeah,
saying, for the team, or you're taking one for the team. He didn't do
yeah,
anything. That was just petulant, is what that was. And secondly, the thing that annoys me is it's the second time he's been sent off now, I think, in 5 games. He's going to miss 2 games for the rest of the season. So like I'm open
yeah.
to correction. I think it's in 5 games, second time he's been sent off. And now he's going to miss 2 games. So he's going to miss, I can't even remember what games he's going to miss now. Newcastle at the weekend, and then a follow-on game from that. And it's the position we said beforehand that look, of all the positions in the field, we've got people who can come in, but the drop-off in our centre halves is quite big. And that's saying something, considering we're both here and we're both a bit annoyed about the centre half play from yesterday. So,
Yeah,
like,
but look,
he's given us a problem we didn't need.
yeah, and look, we spoke a lot during the transfer window about Pau Torres and who could potentially come in, and the need to
Yeah.
strengthen there. He's bought Callum Chambers. Obviously he's gonna go in there. I'd imagine that will be a direct replacement, because he brought him on last night, and we're going to have to trust him, and we're going to have to get behind him, and I'm completely fine with that, because the manager has obviously seen something in him to go and get him. Maybe he couldn't get his first choice. We'll never know what that was. But look, I'm absolutely fine with Ezri Konsa. I'm giving him a pass simply because of what I said. But I thought it was very naive to lead with the elbow the way he did. If he was going to block off the goalkeeper and be cynical about it, I don't believe he would have got a yellow card. But the fact that he led with the elbow, he gave him absolutely no choice.
Yeah.
And, the easiest thing to do here is to go all in on Mings.
I was just about to say, but we do have to talk about Mings as well. Like, if we don't talk about him, because at the end of the day, that clearance for the third goal was just Mickey Mouse stuff. Like, it really was. And look, I'm going to actually say it as well here. Martinez should be calling for that. Like, there was an age between when Llorente hit the ball and when Mings had to make the clearance. Like, Martinez makes the call there, falls in it, everybody walks out, we're 3-2 up still. But what happens is Martinez is standing right beside Mings. Now, whether he did call for it and Mings still went to clear it, I don't know. But still, the clearance needs to be better. Like, the only thing he could have done worse was booted off Llorente into the back of the net, So for me, it's just lack of composure. And I wouldn't mind 30 seconds beforehand, he makes one of the best on-the-line clearances you're going to see this season.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we've delivered good and the bad with him. Like, but it's.
I have said this so many times about him. The guy is capable of being world class 1 minute and just being asleep the next minute. And that's, I said, this is going back a year and a half. I've said this. It just is a lack of concentration. And I don't know how you improve that in somebody. You have to be on the ball for 90 minutes. As you said about the second goal, we actually discussed it, I think, at halftime, because Buendia was actually back there working his nuts off to try and get it. He actually pushed Dan James into the header, which probably caused the goal. But then again, Mings should be dealing better at it than actually looking at where
I actually think Mings would have dealt with it if Buendia didn't come in and try and jump over the two of them. Possibly. So look, but once again, as I say, Matty Cash was also at fault for that goal too. So that was a collective errors. Mings is the guy caught under the ball. He should still have cleared it, not giving him a pass in it.
And
his son is causing havoc with me. My eyes. So I'm just going to do this. Apologies to anyone watching.
I thought particularly in the first half that Matty Cash had a poor game.
I think so too.
That's just my opinion. I thought he was particularly poor. It was one of his worst games for us. So not going to let him away with it either. He did improve as the game went on. I thought he dropped off a little bit and got a little bit more solid at the back. Special mention to we mentioned all the positives. We probably left out Luca Dean, who marshalled Rafinha out of the game without a shadow of a doubt, and to a lesser extent John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, who every time he got the ball, one of them was on him, and he saw very little change out of them. So while people weren't too happy with McGinn and Luiz, who had a quiet game, they didn't have much to do the way the ball was played. In fairness to them, and they were particularly left isolated out of the game.
Yeah. Look, it was one of those up and down games. Actually, I've got one more positive I'm going to talk about as well. And I know that we can discuss the setup of the team yesterday, and we were as wide open in midfield as we've ever seen Aston Villa Football Club, even under Dean Smith. And that was something whereby we conceded all the ground in the middle midfield. And we did that again yesterday. And that's probably something for another conversation. But one thing I will say was really, really good was that I think Aston Villa identified an inefficiency in Leeds defending, and then how Leeds get back and how they defend crosses, because I counted 6 times and then I stopped counting, so it could be more. I counted 6 times that Aston Villa got the ball to the byline. Instead of crossing it, they diagonal ball backwards towards the penalty area. Like Coutinho got his goal from it at the very, very start. That to me means that, or looked like it was fully scouted, that Leeds were poor defending that area, that they got their players back further and maybe defended the edge of the area, and that there was corridors there. And we did it umpteen times. I counted 6. It could be more. It could be more. And that to me, look, just shows that, first of all, I loved it because, you know me, I hate crosses. I hate those crosses into the box that we've been doing. We just can't score them. We're just not able to. So it's that to me was interesting. Coutinho gets a great goal from it. We move on. But yeah, look, game of ups and downs. I know we don't have a lot of time to spend in this, Paddy. It's early morning here on the 10th of February, and both of us have places we need to go. So listen, very, very quick one there for everybody. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We will be back with a preview of the Newcastle game, and we will also be back with a team sheet tantrum before the Newcastle game as well. So to everybody out there, stay safe. It's still a point. Should have been 3. A lot of talking points on it, but we can still move, we can still grow, and we can still progress from this as well. So for me, I'm going to draw a line under it. I'm going to enjoy the goals that we scored, and I'm going to hope that Steven Gerrard and the rest of his team are looking at the goals we conceded and make sure they don't happen again. So that's going to do it for today, guys, everybody. And until next time, all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.